Dreams come true, everybody. If you work hard enough, if you believe in something, dreams come true. I'm sitting with Eli.
What's going on, Bert?
One of the owners of Freewater. Is it just Freewater?
Well, technically there's an S on the end.
Here, grab the mic and make sure it's close to you.
Yeah.
Freewaters?
Yes.
Oh, because you give away free waters.
Correct. And we actually had a debate about that in the beginning.
Really?
Should it be free water or free waters? But in the end, it's like a pair of free waters, right? So a pair, right?
Can I tell you?
We were trying to be somewhat grammatically correct.
What the funniest thing is Jaime, feel free to ask Halston whatever you need. When I worked at Travel Channel, I did it right then. It doesn't even sound right. When we first started, I would call it the Travel Channel. I would say, I work at the Travel Channel, and people would go, and the Travel Channel would go, hey, it's Travel Channel. Just say Travel Channel.
Right.
And I was like, it's the Travel Channel. And they go, no, it's not. Do you say the CBS? And I go, no. And they're like, exactly, it's
right.
CBS.
Right.
So, but it's interesting. How did you come up? Did you come up with the name or the concept first?
It was definitely kind of morphing simultaneously and overlapping, but I have to give credit to my wife because we had 3 original partners, myself, my buddy Martin, and our first investor.
Yeah.
So there were 3 of us that were kind of building this thing, and I had come up with 3 waters, and my wife was like cool. I kind of like it. It's hard to say. It's kind of hard off the tongue. 3 waters.
Yeah.
And doesn't really tell me anything about how I should feel, and she's like, right off the cuff, how about free waters? And I was like, oh.
I like it.
And yeah. And we had already been talking about the water part of it. So we wanted waters in there and free waters. And yeah.
Do you wear brand new flip-flops every day?
Definitely not.
That's part of the fucking beauty of a flip-flop,
right?
Is you want a broken in flip. Dude, I had a very long conversation at Val Surf with the guys that worked there yesterday, breaking down flip-flops. For those of you that don't know, the reason that Eli is here is, I'll tell you the exact date. The first time I tweeted this company, watch this, Bert.
By the way, I love how I sat down and the podcast was already going. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's better that way, I think, because then you don't think about branding or how and it's less presentable. Free. I'm gonna type in Dillon. The first time I talked about it, you got it? August 31st, 2014. I say this without any endorsement fee. This is 5 years ago.
This is fantastic. I was not aware of this.
Freewaters shoes are the best flip-flops I've ever owned in my entire life. And then Jonathan Hayden writes, are they better than Reef? I love my Reefs. I've owned 3 or 4 pairs so far. And I write, best flip-flops I've ever owned. And I've owned them all. I went back and forth replying to people. I was just that big of a believer in this company. I've always been. I was sold to you by the guys that worked at Val Surf.
Yep.
They told me about your company, what your initiative was, but more importantly, they were saying these are the most comfortable flip-flops we've ever owned. Now you got to trust the guy that works at a surf shop.
Yep.
Some people don't give a fuck. You go to some surf shops. There's surf shops in Clearwater, Florida, that I've been to. And I've brought free waters up, and they've said, "Oh yeah," and you can tell it's just someone who just doesn't give a fuck. Right. Yeah, we carry Olakai and Reef. That's it. Yeah. And you're like, who does your buying? I don't even know.
Yep.
And that's frustrating. Don't work at a first surf shop.
I know, and it's funny with sandals because we talk about this all the time that sandals are kind of assumed to be like vending machine self-service.
Yeah.
It's not like shoes where the guy's got to go to the back and pull your size and measure your foot.
So funny. They are self-service.
They're self-service.
Yesterday.
So often you walk into the sandal section and guess what? Crickets. You cannot find an employee if your life depended on it. They're like, oh, that person just wandered in the sandal section. They're good.
Yeah. It's so funny. It's any other part can I help you with something.
Yep.
But you go back to flip-flops and everyone's like, oh, they're fine.
Yeah.
And what's funny is a company like, and I'll break down what I like and dislike in all these flip-flop companies. But when you go to, say, Rainbow, which I was a big Rainbow guy for a long time, a big Rainbow guy. And I'd come out to LA and I couldn't find people that sold rainbows. Yeah. I found one surf shop in Venice Beach that sold rainbows. And then you go out and they have they have small, medium, large, XL, double XL.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm sorry. So you're just, is this communist Russia? Are you telling me it's either big or tight on me? And I am right in between a double XL. A double XL looks like a fucking looks like a scuba flipper on me.
Yeah.
And an XL is too tight around the bridge of my shirt. I love a good size. How much money do you think you lose in sizing flip-flops?
It's one of the hardest aspects of the business.
Really?
It really is, because everybody's foot is slightly different. No 2 feet are the same. So many, 9 times out of 10, when I try to fit people, if I go into a store or if they come to the office and I try to fit them, they're in between. Even because it's industry standard not to do half sizes in sandals, which is nice because as a company, man, it's so hard carrying all these sizes of all these styles, right? So at least in shoes, you have to have half sizes. But because sandals are what we call open footwear, they're a little more flexible on fit. If you're hanging off a little wider, coming off the back, a little short, it's okay. It's a flip-flop. So you don't need half sizes. But I swear 9 times out of 10 that I try to fit someone properly, they're right in between.
I am in between a 12 and a 13.
Yeah.
On some Freewaters, I buy 12.
Yeah.
And on some, I buy 13. And I noticed that a 13 after a couple weeks is a little looser on me. A 12, I can grow in. I can...
Yep.
Because my heel extends longer than my toes. Like my heel's at the end, my toes are like...
You've got more extension.
I've got
in
more
your
room.
heel.
My toes are like, wow, look at all this real estate. So let's talk about... I want to talk about the company in general.
Yeah.
I always envision that my listeners are people with big ideas like myself and going like, I wouldn't mind starting a clothing company, a footwear company, a company in general.
Yeah.
And you did it from ground zero to where we are today.
Right.
You started a successful footwear company. Tell me about your journey to getting to the beginning of it, and then then we'll talk about the journey of running the company.
Okay. And I'll try to do the Cliff Notes version, right?
Do the Cliff Notes, but we're here for an hour plus.
Yeah,
like, might as well
killer.
tell me the story.
Yeah. And I think like so many things, right? Part of the reason we were able to do it and willing to do it is just because we were young and naive, right?
A lot of it's not like I would have never gotten into comedy had I known
exactly
what the life was like.
Yep.
I would have.
If someone had sat you down and been like, "This is actually what it's all about,"
you're going to be flying about 220,000 miles a year. I'd be like, "Whoa!
Right.
I'm out immediately."
Exactly.
You're going to miss almost all of your daughter's softball games. I'd be like, "What kind of fucking dad am I?" But then they were like, "Hey man, it's the greatest job you'll ever have in your life. You'll be consumed with it. You'll love it. Your best friends will be the funniest human beings in the world, and you will make hundreds of thousands of people laugh throughout a year."
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Oh, okay." That's all I thought at the beginning was make 100,000 people laugh, hang out with the funniest people in the world.
Yep.
You can do drugs and drink whenever you want. That was my spectrum of the job. But all the other fucking like sidebar stuff, you'll have a fatty liver at 46, whatever,
Right.
you know. Keep going. So
the story kind of goes like this. So I met Martin, my co-founder and really good friend. We were both in school for product design, industrial design, actually right around the corner in Pasadena. One of the best design schools in the country is hidden right by the Rose Bowl. It's called Art Center College of Design. And it's just a magical place where car designers go. Like the people that are designing Audis and all this stuff right now, they probably went there. People designing at Apple, people designing any kind of consumer goods. It's basically architecture for product.
It's fascinating. My best friend Weicho went through that.
Yeah.
And
it's such a cool program.
It's really cool.
And now a lot of people know about this, but when I first found out about it, this was back in like 97, 98, I'd never heard of industrial design, product design. I'd heard of architecture. I'd heard of graphic design, other aspects of design. And someone told me about this because before I went there, I was at UC Santa Barbara. And I was kind of conflicted because I thought I was going to be a doctor like my dad and my grandfather. And so I started out.
What kind of doctors?
My grandfather was just a family physician, like did everything, delivered babies out in Canada, you name it. My dad's a psychiatrist. My dad's actually like a world leading expert on PTSD. That's a whole nother side story. It's fascinating.
Jesus.
Yeah. So
tell him I have PTSD from riding roller coasters and being on Travel Channel.
Everybody's got some kind of PTSD right now.
Yes, I do.
Jaime and I were just talking about that on the drive up here. I mean, if you live in America now and you listen to what's going on, you have PTSD, by the way. Whew. So coming back to the story, met Martin at Art Center. We both were studying product design. And we hit it off right away because we weren't there we didn't want to design laptops or cars. We wanted to design like cool gear for sports, like the stuff we loved. He was deep into snowboarding. I was really into mountain biking and surfing and skiing.
So ideally, like dream case scenario, when you show up, are you thinking, I really don't know anything about this, but like I want to design like pedals, or I want to design.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, we had a couple other guys.
New styles of handlebars.
Yeah, we had. Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of the guys that are super focused and passionate there are like the car guys and the motorcycle guys, and they're cuckoo about every component. But there are some bike guys that wanted to design pedals or new kinds of shifters, that kind of stuff.
Dude, the shifters,
carbon frames.
The shifters on. I I got on this bike and I thought my Cannondale, the one I rode from Philadelphia to Atlantic City.
Yeah.
And the shifters are fucking amazing. The shifters are in the brakes. It's just they've come so fucking. By the way, thank God I had ridden this a couple times before, because I was like, wait, where the fuck are the shifters? I'm looking for two little thumbs in the center.
I love it. So you just keep doing that cool sidebar stuff, and I'll try to stay on the story, but we'll see how that goes.
Please.
So we meet in school. We're doing our thing. He goes on to graduate and works for like two of the biggest snowboard companies in the world doing snowboard boots. That was like his specialty.
Snowboard boots have fucking changed. When I first started snowboarding, we wore duck boots. They hadn't invented snowboard boots yet.
Right. You were wearing Sorels, basically.
Yeah, I was wearing Sorels.
Yeah.
And you just crank them as tight as you could. We go out. This is, right when snowboarding was invented. I'm 46, so I've seen the whole, when I think Burton started it, but I've seen the whole trends. And then we went out, my senior year of college, we went out to visit Keith Hemstreet, who you remind me a lot of, one of my best friends. Went out to visit him in Aspen for spring break, and he was like, and I brought my Sorels, and he was like, oh, no, you got to try snowboard boots.
Right.
Things have changed. And we were like, what? It was all of a sudden, we were all amazing at snowboarding. We're like, this is fucking easy as shit. God, keep going.
And it's funny because if you think about it, a snowboard boot is probably the most complicated piece of footwear you could ever make. Like there's probably 100 components between the liner and the boot and, and all the little details that are built into it and the different materials and blah, blah, blah. And he goes from designing snowboard boots to flip-flops, but we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
So he graduated when worked for DC and then Burton, and I
have DC boots.
And he ran DC's snowboard boot program and then Burton.
I have a Burton snowboard.
Yep. And then I went right from school to work for O'Neill, the surf company, and designed wetsuits for them.
Hold on. So O'Neill where's O'Neill based out of? Because I hear great stories about this guy.
Yeah, Jack O'Neill. He just recently passed away. He's a legend.
He's a legend.
He's a true legend.
He was. Where was I? Is he from up by
Santa Cruz?
Santa Cruz, up where Jason Ratboy.
Yes. Jason Collins.
Jason
Ratboy,
Collins.
Yeah.
Okay, Jason Collins was telling me stories about O'Neill, about what a great fucking guy he was. And I guess O'Neill found him as a kid and kind of, I think, hooked him up and got him sponsorship.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that guy's a fascinating. I'd love to read a documentary on him.
Yeah, there's some good ones and a couple good books that have come out. But he was they called him a maverick.
Yeah.
And he really was. I mean, he did hot air ballooning when no one was doing it. He was a mad inventor. Wetsuits were just one of the things that he came up with. But anyway, so I moved to Santa Cruz and worked for O'Neill for almost a decade. Got to hang out with Jason Collins, great guy. He was really in the scene at that point.
Really sweet guy.
Yeah.
And not a fuck up. That's what I like about him.
And an amazing fisherman too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And so that was a really cool experience. But after about 10 years, I'd kind of maxed out my ability there. There wasn't that much room for me to grow. I didn't want to get into management.
What were you doing there? Were you designing?
I was doing wetsuit design. I was one of 2 or 3 main wetsuit designers there. There were a couple other people there that were kick-ass. One guy named John Hunter, who's just unbelievable.
Yeah,
he was kind of the mad scientist, and I would help him kind of rein in his ideas and then do all the colors and all the graphics and figure out where to put all the seams and all that stuff.
Wetsuits have changed so much from when I started wearing them. So when I started wearing it was just the zipper in the back. Now I see guys where they're pulling like shoulder pads up over their back.
Yeah. I prefer that style now where you have a short zipper across your chest and nothing on your back.
Really?
And they've made them easy enough to where like bigger guys like me and you can get into them. They're awesome.
By the way, I look ridiculous in a wetsuit. I had to put I had to put a SeaWorld wetsuit
Just
on
a
one
wounded seal.
Yeah, I had to put a SeaWorld wetsuit on, and my whole crew, I was doing this thing for SeaWorld, and they were looking at me, and they're like, I don't know what's worse, the SeaWorld emblem, because, you know, everyone was hating SeaWorld at the time, or the way you look in it. That's you gotta go, you look like Buster Keaton in a Nazi uniform.
Yeah. No, it's true, man. It's like, you know, like for women, they say like, you got to get your bikini body.
Yeah.
Whether you're a guy or a girl, if you jump in a wetsuit, there's no hiding.
So the day you get a job at O'Neill, do you go through and do you just go like, I'm putting on a note, I'm grabbing a note. Do you go, is there like a warehouse you can just go grab shit at? You're like, I'm getting a t-shirt, I'm getting pants, I'm getting a new bathing suit, I'm getting flip-flops,
right.
I'm getting a wetsuit, I'm getting like, can you do that?
Yes and no. So O'Neill was interesting because they actually, the clothing business was a separate business that they licensed out and was based down here in Southern California. In the Irvine area, which is like the mecca of surf apparel. So the family ran the wetsuit business up in Santa Cruz, but they would license out the clothing, which was actually kind of a smart move because they were able to stay super focused on their core business, which were the wetsuits, and then just have a separate team down in Southern California that did all the clothing and apparel and flip-flops and all that.
There's something about a company, especially an apparel company, when they stay super focused on what they're good at, that I appreciate. The guy from Patagonia, that guy, did you hear his podcast, How I Built This?
No.
He said at one point, he goes, you know what? I want to make less money doing what we're doing. And I think if we make less money, we'll have a better product. And you just like, huh?
Right.
What the fuck?
So ahead of his time.
Yeah, it really is. So keep going. I apologize.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
So you're working at O'Neill. You're how old?
Let's see. I want to say I started there at about 24, 25. So now I'm, you know,
living the dream.
Living the dream. Oh,
single in Santa Cruz, working for fucking brand number one in that area.
I was the only person in my age in town with a job. Like everyone, everyone else was, you know, like a waiter. Had all these like. There's no jobs in Santa Cruz.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Either you worked at the UC, or you were a waiter, or a massage therapist, or you did real estate, but like there's so little industry there. It's changed a little bit now with Silicon Valley sneaking its way over the hill.
Yeah. Here's a weird question.
Yeah.
I know that it's very territorial surfing out at, what's the big surf break there?
Well, in town, it's territorial. And then even when you go out of town up the coast, like Mavericks and the big waves.
Mavericks is, I'm not going out there.
You're probably thinking of Steamer Lane.
Steamer Lane. That's where I went surfing with Jason.
Yeah.
And I know that we paddled out, and Jason had to be like, someone was like, what the fuck? And he's like, hey, and they're like, oh, sorry, Jason.
Yep.
And he's like, yep, okay, they're with me. And they're like, okay, go ahead.
Yep.
And so do you get a like a hood pass in the water because you work for O'Neill? And they're like, hey guys, see that thing you got on?
Right.
That's him.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
For real?
You know, you had to earn your stripes, man.
Really?
And it's changed a lot. It's really mellowed out up there. When I first got there in 2000, people get beat up all the time.
Really?
Yeah, and just sent to the beach and beat up.
That's something that's always fascinated me about surf breaks in general. The wolf pack, the Hui.
Yeah, Dahui.
I know that it's like that really big all through Southern California.
Yeah.
I grew up in New Smyrna, what the fuck am I doing? I grew up in Tampa. We surfed in New Smyrna.
Yeah.
And we go out to New Smyrna, and we were oblivious of the fact that there were locals.
Yeah.
We were like, huh? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But that's always been something that I could watch a documentary on the fucking Wolfpack.
Yeah. It's really interesting because it was really a time when surfing was really becoming mainstream.
Yeah.
Like it's had a few moments of that through its history, like with, you know, Gidget back, you know, when it became part of Hollywood and suddenly everyone wanted to be a surfer. But this was another time when, like 90s into the 2000s, when surfing was getting more and more popular. And I think it was just a natural reaction where the locals were trying to hold on to what they had and keep everyone else out. But then it got to a tipping point where there was just nothing they could do. There were too many UC students that wanted to surf, too many tourists that wanted to surf. With the internet and social media, suddenly everyone knew where every surf spot was. And at that point,
that's interesting. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. And so suddenly the localism kind of just faded because there was no point. Like there's just nothing you could do.
It's like, it's what they complain about in neighborhoods of the white colonization. What's it called when white people move in? Gentrification. There's a gentrification of the ocean, of where you're like, hold on, this is my break. I grew up here. How dare you?
Yeah.
The Wolfpack. If you don't know anything about the Wolfpack or the Hui, they probably are like ground zero for locals only.
Oh, for sure.
And so if you don't know, the Australians came in back in like the 70s. I think it was Rabbit Bartholomew, maybe.
Yep.
It came into, oddly enough,
Sean Thompson from South Africa and all those guys.
for being a mediocre waterman, I know a lot about surfing culture.
Nice.
And so Australians came in and they're like, oh, well, it was I think now they have respect for it. And they go, yeah, we did fuck up. What I'm about to say is a little aggressive, but they were like, basically, these islanders are savages. We're the fucking Australians. We'll come in and do everything right. And the islanders were like, fuck you.
Right.
And they almost killed them.
Yeah.
And they had to have like someone come in and barter a peace treaty. Yep. I think it was the guy who, not Duke.
No, Greg Knoll, maybe? No.
Who's the guy? Kontiki. By the way, I am all over the fucking map right now. There's the one of the best watermen ever out of Hawaii. He ended up they wanted to prove this is a long-winded story. If I were you, I'd skip ahead by 1 minute and get out of this. Just hit 15 seconds 4 times. Better not be my doctor. Nope. So, they wanted to prove that Hawaiians could sail their own vessels from island to island.
Yeah.
And, or at least to like the Philippines or something. And so, or to Samoa. And so they had a bunch of people. And then this one, give me the top 10 Hawaiian watermen, Hawaiian surfers, and you'll get this guy. And so they took a vessel and the vessel got caught up in water, in weather. And this one guy, one of the best surfers ever, the Eddie Akau, the Eddie.
Yep.
He decided to paddle back, and that's how he ended up passing.
Yeah.
But Eddie, if I'm not mistaken, Eddie brokered the peace deal between the Wolfpack and. I apologize. Now, in my minute's over, we're back to the podcast. Keep going. So you're in Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz. So I was kind of at a turning point in my career, and Martin was working for Bert in Vermont, and he loved what he was doing, but Vermont's a pretty tough place to be.
Yeah.
Even as a snowboarder, and he liked surfing too. So he was driving 5 hours to Boston area trying to surf, and he and his wife were over the cold in the winter. So he was kind of looking for a change. I was looking for a change. We'd always talked about doing something together. We had designed a snowboard jacket together in school, and we were like, hey man, maybe this is the time. Maybe we do our thing. And being as naive as we were, I mean, we both had significant careers already in the industry, but it's one thing to be designing or even product managing for a number one market share brand where you're kind of part of this really good machine and everything's pretty well oiled and things are going, to starting your own thing. So we thought we knew what we were doing. We knew how to design product. We had connections in Asia for manufacturing and sourcing.
Do you get those connections working for Burton and for DC and for O'Neill? You get those connections.
Right. And you kind of understand how those relationships work and what's required. But that's about all we knew. We didn't realize that was like 10% of what you need to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we knew nothing about sales. We knew nothing about distribution. We knew nothing about marketing. We had no idea that the entire retail and marketing landscape were about to get flipped on its head right when we launched,
How so?
Well, just with the rise of e-commerce right at that time.
Yeah.
There were hints of it happening, but nobody, I think, foresaw how quickly everything was going to flip.
Meaning shopping at Amazon?
Shopping at Amazon, the struggle that small retailers, especially like small surf shops, were going to go through.
Oh, yeah. Dude, my favorite surf shop in all of Florida, Mandalay, closed. And that was like a staple in Clearwater.
Right.
And when it closed, I mean, that was a surf shop. When we went to Clearwater, we went every single day. You'd go to the surf shop.
Right.
Every day you get something new.
Right.
Just something new. You'd be like, I got a pair of flip-flops. Yeah, you get a pair of flip-flops your first day. Get a couple shirts. And the next day you go, I'm going to need another bathing suit. You get a bathing suit. Hey, what do your watches look like? Get a watch. Get some sunglasses the next day.
Yeah.
Get a fucking... keep going.
Yeah. That's awesome, by the way, that you support Val Surf, which is right in your neighborhood, right?
It's right down the street. I go there. I go there when I'm bored just to hang out. I've gone in and said, I want a new skateboard. I make money, but like for me, I go, I get another skateboard for the girls because the girls are learning how to skateboard.
Yep.
So I'll pick up, we can always have when kids come over, you can't have enough skateboards. So like I've gone over there and bought a lot. Yesterday I went and bought 3 pairs of Freewaters. I bought all the size 12s just because I was like, hey, what? I haven't seen these. It's like, yeah, you try them on. I tried them on. I liked them. And then I got a pair because I was like, I'm going to throw a pair in my golf bag so that I never have to worry about losing a pair.
Right.
So yeah, keep going.
I love it. So we decided to start Freewaters, right? And at that point,
Why flip-flops?
fantastic question. It basically goes something like this. We talked about like, okay, we understand snowboard boots, we understand wetsuits, and the whole anything made out of neoprene I had designed, wake surfing jackets, booties, gloves, hoods, scuba suits. Anyway, but we looked at all those products and we said, all right, these are very niche products if you think about it. Do we really think it's realistic we're going to come in as a new brand and be able to compete in what's a pretty small market with a lot of good, well-established brands that have been around 40, 50 years, and we think we're going to come in and take a big chunk? Highly unlikely. And even if you do, the upside, you're going to get capped out pretty quick because these are, in the end of the day, it's pretty small markets.
Yeah.
So then we said, okay, well, Martin had definitely more knowledge and experience around sourcing in Asia and manufacturing around footwear. And he had done some sandals and some skateboarding shoes in addition to, and so we kind of looked at all our options and we were like, well, we should probably do footwear given all your experience. Wetsuits is a tiny market and a really tough business.
Tough nut to
Half
crack.
of them break and you got to repair them for the people. So we said, all right, let's do footwear. And then we started looking at footwear and we really kind of did like a market analysis, and we said, the shoe game is tough, man. You're talking about hundreds of competitors, the big ones that have just dominate, but we looked at sandals and we said, there's definitely an opportunity here because even with the good brands that are there, we couldn't really find a flip-flop that we liked. We tried a bunch of stuff and
Fucking amen.
So when I used to work at O'Neill, every summer I'd need a new pair of flip-flops. I tried the O'Neill ones. Not much happening there. They weren't really a legit footwear brand, right? They were a wetsuit. They were a wetsuit company.
You're buying the name O'Neill on their flip-flop.
Exactly.
I'm not just shitting on
No,
O'Neill.
I think it's just the truth. And they'd probably admit that too, and then I would try rainbows. I would try reefs. I would try locals. I would try Havaianas. I would try everything. Nothing fit me. I've got size 12 like you, wide, flat feet.
I have a wide foot. I have a very high arch.
And I would go into the O'Neill surf shop, which was right next door to our office, and try everything. And I could never find anything that I liked.
You're talking about a problem I didn't know I had. It wasn't until I found your flip-flop that I got my flip-flop. Like I would always buy flip. I would buy so many different pairs, and I think the older I got, I think my foot changed a tad bit.
Right. Yep.
But I was married to a certain. I felt a flip flop should look a certain way. I was not cool with the innovations that were happening in flip flops.
Yeah.
Meaning like a wider side part, and it got skinny and like we'll talk about flip flops in a little bit.
Yeah.
But keep going.
Yeah. So we saw an opportunity in flip flops, and our vision kind of was, let's start with flip flops. We can probably penetrate the market. And then once we do that, maybe we'll start making some shoes, which we ended up doing. But right around that time, keep in mind, I'd been living in Santa Cruz for like 10 years. So I was definitely on the crunchy side of the spectrum. It's pretty hard not to when you live there. And that's kind of who I am. I mean, I care a lot about the environment. I eat really healthy and clean. I care about, justice and equality and pretty liberal values, I have to admit. And smoking a lot of green really helped with that over the years. And so I listened to a ton of reggae and Grateful Dead and all that kind of stuff. So when we were about to launch this company, we were formulating the business plan. I went and saw a Michael Moore film called Capitalism, A Love Story. And I'd seen other films in that genre, but that one really hit me hard, where it was just just hit you in the face, like, capitalism, yeah, all good and dandy. Here's the other side of the coin, and be aware of what this really is doing. And I think it's something like Yvon Chouinard from Patagonia was well aware of from the early days. But it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, yo, man, if we're going to build a company, start shipping products from Asia to the US and do all this, like, it's not enough for me just to do that and make cool shit and sell it to people and call that a big home run.
Yeah.
There's got to be something a little deeper where we're making some people's lives better and there's a little more meaning behind what we're doing. And that's where we started talking about, all right, well, what can we do? And we wanted to do something very basic, right? Like we talked about taking people surfing. Like maybe we take people that would never have a chance to go surfing, take them surfing. My wife's actually taken blind people surfing, which is a whole nother story, which is incredible. It's one of the most powerful things I've ever seen because they're so damn good at it.
Oh, because that makes sense.
Because they're not thinking.
Yeah.
They don't care what they look like. They're not trying to impress anybody. They just jump up to their feet and go, oh, I'm supposed to stand like this. And they stand like that and they rip.
Really?
It's awesome. Anyway, so we want to do something very fundamental. And take people surfing. That's awesome. But more fundamental. We kept whittling it down. Eventually we were like, man, drinking water.
Yeah.
And it really came from our connection to water. Like as a surfer, as someone that goes in the water or someone anyone that's in the water, we all know from taking a shower how that makes us feel better. But there's something about surfing where you feel one way, you go into the water, you come out feeling another way. The water has an incredible healing power. And we wanted to share that with other people. And so instead of taking people surfing, it was really like, let's make sure people have clean water to drink and bathe in,
Water, when I was in La Jolla with my daughters, it was surprisingly big waves, all kind of breaking just offshore. Not offshore, but like onshore technically.
Yeah, like a shore break.
Yeah, and my daughter Isla is very connected with water, like insanely. Certain people belong in the water and certain people don't.
Yep.
My brother-in-law does not belong in the water. But Isla, even when we were in Bali, she was diving down 20 feet, hold her breath, dive down 20 feet to the bottom and just swim. It's just...
She's a fish.
Insane. Like we go into our pool. She a little weird of a kid, but she'll go, Dad, bloop, bloop. And I know that she's saying, hey, go get the scuba gear.
Yeah.
Let's lay on the bottom and look at the palm tree.
Yeah.
And so me and her will grab the regulator, the BC, get everything, hook it up, sink it to the bottom, and lay on the bottom with a 7-pound weight on her chest, just staring up at the palm tree. And she could sit there for an hour. She just loves the water.
That's so cool.
And so when we were in La Jolla, she was like, hey, let's play in the waves. I was like, they're a little strong. She goes, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
And man, I'm telling you, there's something super cathartic. If you're depressed and you're feeling like, what's this all about? Go get in the water and let Mother Nature just throw your body around for a little bit.
Yeah.
And in a safe way, you will end up smiling.
Yeah.
You'll end up just being like, God, there's something bigger than me out there that's working. And I laughed and the water was ice cold.
Yeah.
And it felt so fucking good.
That's the best.
Oh, I love the ocean.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's science around this. I haven't read it, but I'm convinced.
Has to be.
Yeah. And I'm convinced there's some kind of electromagnetic thing that happens when you go, especially in the ocean, in the salt water. Like think about people take Epsom salt baths to feel better. So you're basically going into a salt bath that has all kinds of ions and minerals in it, and you're soaking in it.
And you're getting pushed by energy that's been moved for hundreds and thousands of miles. This energy has been, there's something spiritual to it. I love the fucking ocean.
Isn't that amazing?
I do. So you decide to do clean drinking water. Not to be overlooked, but I'm sure you have some sort of statistic, but from what I've heard, that is it's the easiest way to help people not die.
Yeah, it's pretty fundamental, right?
Yeah.
What we always try to remind people is that not only, imagine going a day or 2 or 3 days without water to drink, right? That's obvious. Everyone gets that. But what we see firsthand, and it's well known, is clean water is one of the most foundational things to the health of a community in terms of all of their prosperity, right? They're not going to be physically healthy. They're not going to be financially healthy. And it's all tied together because if you don't have clean water, that means the parents and the kids are getting sick from waterborne diseases, whatever they might be. And that means they might have diarrhea or whatever it is. They're not going to school, or they're not able to work, or they're hiking for 2 hours to get water.
We saw that. We saw that in Bali.
Right.
These women were hiking with water.
Yeah, it's so common, and that means half your day is taken up just getting the water. Right. So that means you're not going to school, and you're not working, and you're not farming, or you're not. If you're a blacksmith,
getting water. Think about that, Tom Segura. Imagine, would you be the water champ, Tom Segura, if you had to walk fucking 12 miles to get your water and walk 12 miles to bring it home?
Yeah.
That's fucking overwhelming.
Yeah, it is. And
So
it's hard. It's hard for us to grasp living here. It really is, you know.
Oh, I have a 32-ounce ice cold glass of water.
Yeah, right. But it's all coming. Man, there are communities right here in California that are running out of water as we speak, and you'll see it more and more in the news. You know, there's a ton of communities in the Central Valley where the groundwater has been completely ruined by agriculture.
I've heard about that.
Yeah,
I've heard about that.
And especially like animal farms and all the waste that run off from the animal farms. It gets in the groundwater and the water's polluted. We know what happened in Flint, right?
Yeah.
And there was I just saw on the New York Times yesterday or the day before on the website, one of the big articles on the front was, you know, global water crisis spreading. I think by 2030, there's going to be 72 countries that have basically used up all their groundwater.
God dang.
Cape Town in South Africa is on the verge of running out of water.
Really?
The city. So it's happening, and it's something that's affecting us all.
Yeah.
I think we as Americans still want to think this is something that only happens in remote places in the world, you know, with people that are less fortunate than us, but it's coming here and it's coming fast. It's pretty scary, but I think it's one of the things, like, unlike maybe climate change and the way how quickly the climate's changing and the ice caps melting, like we can solve the water crisis.
Yeah.
But we're not doing much about it right now.
I think most people, including myself, go, yeah, but I have water. They don't just have like water. Like, I think for the most part, you go, I hear that. Like, why don't they just go get a bottle of water? Right. You know, like, I think that it's one of those problems that I think for the most part, unless you have seen it firsthand, you have a hard time wrapping your head around.
Yeah. Even for me, you know, like I tell Jaime all the time, like we sit in the office working, doing design and marketing, whatever it is, but it takes me going back to Haiti, you know, to see our water project there. And I get there and I'm like, my God, man.
So you have water projects in Haiti, Kenya,
and the Philippines.
Mm-hmm. Joe Coy. I'm trying to hook you up with comics right now. I know Tom Segura is the water champ. Joe Coy is from the Philippines.
I love it.
I don't know any Kenyan comedians. And I'm probably not going to go around to all my black friends and go, hey, is your family from Kenya? Hey, Donnell, you're pretty dark. Hey, are you
Are you Maasai?
Dude, I've been to Kenya. I party with the Maasai tribe.
Nice.
Drank goat's blood with the Maasai chief.
Legit. I did not.
So did you have a water plan in place when you started the company? Or you're like, all right,
Nope.
Let's start the company and let's figure out how we didn't do this
Completely
water thing.
winged it. The one thing that was cool that we did do is we committed to starting a water project before we ever brought product to the market. Because we were just like, that would not be very cool. It would be more of like a promise, like buy our sandals and one day we're going to start this water project, you know?
I've done that.
Yeah. So, like so much of what we did, we were totally naive. We had no idea how to start a water project.
Yeah.
We reached out to some friends. Turns out we had friends working in Kenya. There's a big problem in Kenya in the cities with street kids that are like addicted to the sniffing glue. You probably know about this.
I don't.
Oh man, it's terrible. So it's a way kids end up on the street. It happens to adults too. And the way they pass their time and the hunger is they sniff this really cheap glue, and it, you know, just like any alcohol or drug, it's just a way for them to like ease the pain of their day.
Oh.
And they get addicted to sniffing this glue. So our friends were helping these kids get off the street and off this glue. And it was this really amazing program run by this organization called Until Then. And then we reached out to them and they're like, we'll help you. We haven't done water projects before, but we know a lot of people in Kenya. We kind of have an idea of how this might work. They went down there first. They met some people from another NGO that were doing water projects, but ran out of funding. So these people were looking for kind of to start something new.
Yeah.
And we just sort of pieced it all together. And then Martin and I flew to Kenya, helped kind of get the thing kicked off.
Coach or first class?
Oh, are you kidding? Concorde, upper deck. No, we suffered in coach for sure.
When it's your money, you're like, well, what the fuck are you talking about? Spending 17 grand on a fucking first class ticket to Kenya?
It's wild to think back about. And this is before, like, we were not doing social media, I don't think. We were, our first year doing Freewaters, first couple years, we had print ads in Surfer magazine, like legit 2-page.
What year is this?
This was, let me see. It's
2000.
2009, 2010, 2011.
Yeah, that's probably when we all started podcasting pretty heavily.
Right. So we were dinosaurs. We put ads, printed physical ads in a physical magazine, and we thought we had made it.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, this thing's going to go huge. Everyone's going to see this. Little did we know that, there was this digital revolution coming that we were clueless about at the time.
Oh, that's crazy.
Isn't that funny?
So you get the drinking water project up and running. You find someone who can do it cheaper, faster.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really cool that we partnered up with this professor of hydrology from the University of Utah who was trained in this technique of digging wells. It's all dug by hand.
Mormons love Africa.
They do.
Do you know why? Because they're godless savages and they can convert them. Look, I'm not shitting on them. I love Mormons. There's not a Mormon I've ever met that I haven't loved. I love Mormons.
Yeah.
But man, they're all over Africa.
They are. I see a lot of them in Haiti.
They're a lot, dude.
I see them in Haiti too.
The microfunding. Look at his name. I think it's Charles Pope is his name. He's the guy who has the backyard slingshot. We worked with him on Bert the Conqueror. He does microloans.
Yeah.
Like it's really brilliant.
That's an amazing
get into
approach.
microloans. I could put $1 million towards microloans and just fucking change a community.
Yeah.
My problem is I'd be like, keep it. Like, dude, this guy fucked up my order at by the way, shout out to the guy at fucking Coffee Bean who fucked up my order. He fucked up my order today. I was driving back from the cardiologist and he goes, oh shit. I go, yeah, can I get a venti, a tall coffee, a large coffee? He's working behind the counter. He's like, oh shit, it's a machine. And I go, yeah. He goes, I get to write the machine on a cup? How fucking great is this going to be? I was like, yeah, great. And he goes, $5.24. And I was like, that seems like a lot for a iced coffee. And then they give me this big frothy drink. And I was like, oh, he messed it up. Right. I go, I just wanted an iced coffee. And they're like, well, go back to him and get your change. So I just went back to him. I was like, hey, I wanted just an iced coffee. He goes, oh, let me give you change. I go, just put it in your tip jar. I fucking can't. I'm not going to ask for $3 back from you. I was like, just keep it. I'm glad you recognized me.
What does a cardiologist say about coffee?
Nothing.
Nothing?
My blood pressure was fucking perfect today.
Nice.
And I wanted it to not be perfect so that it could be representative of how I think it is. But it was perfect. It was better than it's actually better than I've ever taken it. So what I did is I brought my actual blood pressure machine and I said, no. Don't believe my body. My body's lying right now. I go, take a look at this. And so he looked at my blood pressure machine, flipped through it, and he was like, no, the numbers are fine. Your blood pressure's fine. I was like, motherfucker. Then he did a sonogram on all my organs. He's like, you look good. I was like, hold the fucking phones.
Yeah.
So did blood work, get blood work back. But he said my liver looks good. He can tell by a sonogram.
I need to get on that, man. I probably haven't seen a doctor in like 3-4 years, and I'm pretty much your age. I'm 45.
Yeah. Get a cardiologist. I really recommended Bill Burr to a cardiologist. Just the easiest way to, for most men, just cut out all risk of stupid shit happening to you that could have been stopped.
Right.
Look, I can't really speak to cancer or to fucking Lou Gehrig's disease or anything big like that. But as far as like just having a stroke or having a heart attack where you die for no reason at all,
right,
you can fix that. Totally, you can fix that.
Yeah.
And that's the guy to do it. But yeah, I get a full blood panel run and then goes through blood pressure and he does like a sonogram of all my organs. And today he was like, your liver looks fine. I was like, hold on. He's like, well, obviously you're fucking 250. I'm sure you got a little bit of a fatty liver. So like lose weight. Let's get rid of that. But he's like, hey, you look good. We'll do a blood panel to make sure. But he's like, you're fine.
Good
but you got to go to. I would definitely recommend. Like if
did you have a scare or anything, or you just
no? My dad's a fucking hypochondriac. So my dad and I ate marijuana one time with Joey Diaz. My dad ate marijuana on accident. I ate it on purpose, so my dad wasn't the only one high. And then we ended up sitting out there having cigars and whiskey. And I said to my dad, I'm high as fuck. I'm with my dad. My dad's never, in my knowledge, I think he probably smoked pot in college, but he's never really eaten marijuana.
Yeah.
And I go, why don't you like me? And he was like, I'm afraid I'm going to lose you. Just high, honest conversation. And I said, well, how can we fix that? Because I want you to like me. And he was like, I need you to get a cardiologist. And I need to tell him everything that I want done to you. I want him to make sure that you're going to be okay. So I said, great. So I told my dad, find this cardiologist. He found a cardiologist who had grown up in Tampa, a great cardiologist. I have a great cardiologist. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want everyone going to this guy. But I hooked up Bill Burr with him. Like, Bill called me and he was like, you got a cardiologist? I was like, yeah. And I literally was like, you need to go to one right now. I go to see a cardiologist tomorrow.
Yeah.
I called my doctor. I called Bill. I set them up. I said, get Bill in. I go, give him everything you gave me.
Yeah.
And then today, a little secret time. But today I said, how's Bill? And he goes, he's great. He's in great shape. I said, really? He goes, yeah, he's doing good. He goes, but he's like, he doesn't party. I go, oh, he doesn't party, huh? Is that how we talk to our cardiologist, Bill? We lie to them, huh? No, but he did blood work on him, so he's totally fine. Bill's a weird guy because he'll quit drinking for like 8 months, and then he'll go hard as fuck for a month. But not even hard as fuck, like hard as fuck for Bill, which is, a couple whiskeys a night.
Right.
Bill's he's a very healthy, mindful of his body guy.
Yeah.
A really great. I mean, if you've never met him, he's one of the sweetest, best fucking dudes in the world.
Right. Well, I expect you to introduce me to all these people, right?
I'm going to. My goal is to take this company to the next fucking level. I want all my friends to have Freewater flip-flops. I want all my friends. I really want to hook you up with Joe Coy because I really think Joe Coy is huge in the Philippines. Huge in the Filipino community.
Yeah.
And I believe that pairing up with him somehow, I don't know, like in something very organic, not forced. And I know Joe is a great guy. He would do anything. But I believe that he could raise awareness for the free drinking water in the Philippines and bring awareness. I mean, my fucking nurse today was Filipino, and he was like, they say you're a comedian. I said, yeah. And he goes, do you know Joe Coy? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, oh, and lost his shit. Apparently all Filipinos are nurses and all nurses are Filipino. So, but like, I definitely want to hook you up with a bunch of these guys.
That'd be awesome. And I want to thank you for inviting me down here, by the way. Super cool. And it's just cool. It's just cool because like you said, 2014, and I didn't even know about that until today.
Yeah.
We don't have a Twitter account. Like we can barely manage Instagram.
I have big plans for this company.
Yeah.
I would like to take over your marketing entirely. I would like to
I think you
trust me. I have big plans for this company. It all stemmed from, and we'll talk about this again in a little bit, but it all stemmed from my love of one pair of flip-flops that you made. You made one pair of flip-flops that I loved so much. I bought 4 of them. I wore them walking around for an entire 2 summers doing Bert the Conqueror. That's the only shoe I wore. And it just is a great fucking flip-flop. I have a lot of questions about design, about why you discontinued them, about what was the flux. I also have, I think, the pair that replaced them.
Right, like the next generation.
I have the next generation. And I think they're not on. By the way, I am playing with this flip-flop on my fucking foot right now. This is the flip-flop I love, the men's Dillon size 12. I've been putting my heel in it.
Not the 11, the 12.
I know. I get weird about branding. Like there's certain things that I just hear them in my head. They come out quick. Body Shots World Tour. Right. Tickets at Bert.com. Start in San Francisco. Go down to
Dillon Brown size 12.
Yeah, ends in there's certain weird things that I get stuck on. But yeah, there's a lot of guys I want to introduce you to because I believe when you find something cool, you should share it with people. Yeah. I have no vested interest in this company. I have no interest in this other than I want this flip-flop. That's it. Now, obviously, I think my initial offer to you guys was I will pay for all of them to be made and I will sell them. I think I said I will buy into the company. I will do whatever. I fucking trust me. I believe in you guys as much as I believe in cool pants. Right. You ever wear cool pants? KUHL?
Oh, KUHL. I see them at REI.
Awesome. They're great fucking pants. Candied jalapenos. I love candied jalapenos. I love these fitted hats. This is SF Grippy makes these hats, right? Halston, is that right? He just hit me up this morning. He goes, dude, I got a shout out. Let me tell you something. I'm really happy for this. And I'll tell you why. When I feel like I'm going to get a little meta on here. When I first met Joe Rogan, he was selling flashlights on his podcast to like deficit fund his podcast.
Were you invited on the podcast, or how do you?
Yeah. I met Joe. I was a fan of the podcast. He invited me on the podcast. I did the podcast the first time, and I was skeptical because it was an ad read. You know, I was like, was like, hey, are those flashlights any good? And he was like, yeah, I wouldn't sell them if they weren't. And I was like, what? And he goes, I wouldn't be talking about it. He goes, you never use a flashlight? And I was like, no. And he goes, grab one over there, take it home. Tell me you don't love this thing.
Right.
I used a flashlight. And I was like, okay, I don't even know why I have my wife. Like, what the fuck? These things are awesome, especially when you run them under water. Anyway, I subscribe to that. Now, obviously, there's reads I've done in the past, like where there's not a ton of connection when it comes to podcast reads. But as far as like sharing stuff on your podcast that you dig, I believe in that. This hat I'm wearing is from, it's called Hat Club. I don't have any, they're not a sponsor.
Yeah.
But they make a really cool hat. This guy, SF Grippy on this guy, he just posted me, SF Grippy. He does like custom hats, and this is me talking about him on the podcast. He'll probably post this on his podcast. But it's like, I like fitted hats. I like a cool fitted hat. Yeah, I think they're fun to wear. It's like, and no one knows what they are, and they're like, hey, who is that? And you're like, I don't even know. You know, I gave a shout out to this young lady who's a comedian in Denver who's really good at social media, at Photoshops. And then I was like, she's really funny. She happens to be transgendered, which I think people wouldn't imagine is my brand, that I'd be drawn to a transgender comedian, but I was, because it's not something I've heard a lot about on stage.
Right.
I really dug what she did, and I gave her a shout out. And it's not, I don't get anything from it. I believe that people should share cool shit. How much fun is that in life when someone shares something with you that you didn't know about, now you know about, and you're like, oh, fuck it. Like Bobby, this is stupid, but like Bobby Kelly introduced me to Tatuaje cigars. Now I knew a lot about cigars, but I wasn't keen on like new brands of cigars.
Yeah.
Bobby Kelly hit me up and he's like, dude, let's do a podcast. Come down. We go to this place, the V Cut on Melrose. And I was like, what cigar are you going to get? I always go to the same thing. Padron 7000. That's my cigar.
Yeah.
Padron 7000. And Bobby goes, oh, you got to get a Tatuaje. I was like, I'm not into new fangled cigars. I like the old school ones. That's me. I grew up in Florida. He's like, no. Tatuaje. Bro, you can't keep Tatuajes out of my mouth. I mean, I'm fucking, but I like introducing people to cool shit. I think
cool.
that's super important, especially in like a day where everyone's selling their Instagram for
right?
fucking $500 a post.
I know.
I'll never sell my Instagram. If you see me talk about something on my Instagram that I like a fucking cool movie, like I just saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I fucking loved it.
Nice.
I loved it. My daughters didn't get it because they didn't know who the Mansons were. But and that's when this is a legit fanboy moment. In 2014, I'm talking about your fucking flip-flops.
That's cool. And people are so smart. Like through a podcast, through an Instagram post, they sniff out when it's not legit, it's not authentic. Yeah. So that's really cool. It's cool that you do it that way.
I just, I'm really glad this happened. I'm genuinely happy this happened because you guys are all over my fucking house. My sisters both bought Freewaters. They were at the house the other day. They're like, oh, I just bought a pair of Freewaters. Heard you talking about them so much. I was like, I got to try a pair. We were at a surf shop together and we like tried them on. Fucking really comfortable. I was like,
that's awesome.
No shit. Yeah, I'm a big foot guy. By the way, I have beautiful feet. I also want a big marketing campaign about me being a foot model for you.
Close-ups of your feet.
I have gorgeous fucking feet.
That's good because I don't.
For real?
Oh, it's so funny. I own a flip-flop company. I swear I have the ugliest feet. Jaime will tell you, man. It's just like.
Oh, I can see. Yeah, you don't have the best feet in the world.
No, not at all. They're wide. They're flat. They're pasty. I got messed up nails.
My nails got fucked up from running, but I gotta. Yeah. What I want to do is I want to get ultra marathoners to do pictures of their feet in your flip-flops after they run races, and that's like one of our sponsorships.
That's
like,
cool.
Like we go, hit up Cam Hanes. Cam Hanes, congratulations, you just ran 200 miles within 24 hours. Do us one favor, okay? Here's a pair of Freewater flip-flops. Throw them on after your race and just relax. But take a picture and send them, put them online. Because, dude, I'm obsessed with fucking ultra marathoners' feet. We get Michelle Wolf. I've got big marketing plans. How do I just need an office?
An ugly
and
foot.
One day a month.
Does an ugly foot make a flip-flop look better?
Oh, look at my... Those are Freewaters. I guarantee it. Those are men Dillon.
Yeah, those are.
Yeah. That's all I've ever worn for the fucking... That's Freewaters right there. That's all I got is fucking Freewaters.
When were these from?
I have a foot fetish too.
I love it.
A little bit. Jen Stevens had great fucking feet. That's my toenail coming off after I run the LA Marathon. But so where were we in this conversation?
We were doing pretty good. We got through the whole how we got started. We did the water project.
Water project.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about this. I want to know about this. So you have your idea. You and Martin draw what, like 5 pairs of flip-flops each? Like, I mean, tell me about really starting a company.
Right.
Like, you got your idea.
Right.
We want to do this.
Right.
We need money. We're going to get investors to invest in our company based on our experience.
Yep.
And then do you and him like go to investors with pictures of flip-flops and then price data of like, so these are this is tanned leather. We want to use tanned leather. We can get this leather in Asia at ... per yard.
Right.
If we make 100 size 12s, 10 size 10s. Like, I mean, I really don't know. I want to know how that works.
I think that, you know, like anything, there's no formula to doing this, right? And I think every business story is different. Ours worked out like this, where it's pretty cool, where we ended up having a family member be our initial angel investor to get us started.
Yeah.
Which was really, really cool. It made things, in some ways, it made things easy for us.
Yeah.
Right. Which is great. We were able to just kind of get going. In other ways, maybe it was too easy because we didn't have to pitch something like to a bunch of people and make it so convincing, Shark Tank style, where they're like punching holes in all your ideas until you come up with something extremely compelling.
Yeah.
But, you know, we had a lot of experience between Martin and I, and we felt confident, and our angel investor felt confident for us to get started. So we got lucky there. And then we ended up doing a couple other rounds of investment, and those ended up being
ballpark what an angel investment needs to be to start a company. Don't you have to tell me what yours is, but tell me like for someone listening who goes, I definitely want to start a company. I got a rich uncle. How much do I need to start a company?
Oh man, there's no good answer. I mean, you could start a company with $5,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess you
really could.
Talk to Sarah Blakely.
Right. You go out and buy a really sick red video camera for what are those cost? Probably 20 grand or something. I don't know. Right.
Yeah.
And you could start a company with that.
Yeah. But when you're making a brand or a product,
right.
Do you need?
Well, if you're doing apparel, it's easier.
Really?
Yeah. Because you're probably just going to source blank tees, blank hats, whatever they are. That's what most of these people do. And they just apply their graphics, their logos, maybe change some coloring, change some stitching, whatever it might be. With footwear, it is harder because you're actually making a molded part of the product is molded. So you actually have to create molds, or what we call tools. And that requires some engineering, some design, and actually getting these parts made, which is expensive.
Yeah.
And then you need a legit manufacturing facility. It's not just like t-shirt blanks where, you know.
Yeah.
So it really depends, but you know, depending on what it is, I would don't let money be an obstacle, because you really could start something, even apparel brand for 5 grand, 10 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand. If you had 100 grand, you'd probably be well on your way. If you had 500 grand, you're flying.
Really?
Because in the end, a lot of that money is going to be for marketing, because marketing is expensive. Yeah. You know, and the more dollars you have to throw around the beginning, the more you can just get out there quicker.
What were some marketing mistakes you made early on?
We talked about the print ads in Surfer Magazine, right? Like, sure, it helped. But I think what's so fascinating now is, you know, you run a print ad of something and you have no idea. There's no way of measuring the effectiveness of that ad, right? You have many people. The only thing you know are how many people subscribe to that magazine.
Yeah.
But you have no idea how many people actually looked at it, whether they gave a shit, whether they ever looked up your brand or followed up with it in any way. Whereas now with all the digital marketing, whether it's through Facebook, Instagram, any other social platform, you know exactly how many people clicked on it, exactly how many people ended up on your website, exactly how many people ended up on that product, and how many people bought that product. It's wild.
Can I tell you a marketing plan I have for this company?
Powerful tool. Yeah.
Okay. I want to get porn stars to go and do radio for Freewaters, and all they wear to radio are the Freewater flip-flops. And they give obviously the DJs Freewaters. Hey guys, I hope you guys enjoy these flip-flops. You're going to really like them. And let them ask whatever they want to ask these porn stars. Let them do whatever they want. Hashtag branded free flip. There's this porn star, Lisa Ann, who did press for one date. And I've actually reached out to her and said, hey, if you ever want to be on my podcast, she was doing press for one date in Levittown. a strip club in Levittown. She's a porn star. This woman got so much goddamn press because she was just fun and loose, and that I actually thought about hiring her to do press for my next Netflix special. Just going like, hey, whatever you do, just do you.
Right.
And just keep mentioning my special.
Right.
Because she got more press than comics that were releasing books that week. And she was all she was doing was trying to sell tickets in Levittown.
Yeah.
I saw her fucking everywhere. But keep going. So
yeah, but
so
you're on it.
ads,
But you're on it, man. I mean, it's like just in meeting you and having you, do some funny stuff about our brand is awesome because it's totally unexpected. You don't think flip flop comic, and
well,
you got
I'm a lifestyle comedian.
Right?
That's
yeah,
my new branding.
Right. But you got to do something unexpected to get people's attention these days. And like my nature and my instinct has always kind of been more traditional. But Martin, my co-founder, he's been thinking that way for a while. Like, yo, man, like the only way you're going to get anyone to pay attention to a sandal or even a shoe, like you got to do something left field. Whatever it is, whether it's a comedian or a porn star or a dog or whatever it is.
I want Freewater to not sponsor, but part of the marketing plan is we're going to take a comedian and a pro surfer out surfing and get a comedian out on the beach. Get a comedian out on the beach. I think that would be really fun. And not only that, but it's like when you think about surfing, I watch a lot of surfing videos.
Yeah. Do you watch the world tour where they live broadcast the events?
No, I'm not that into it.
No, but they need you because they've got like the American and the Aussie, and it's cool because you've got like the American accent and the Aussie accent, and they're kind of like, the tandem duo, and they're commenting, but they're like, yeah, mate, he's just ripping this wave into shreds, and but at the end of the day, it's super boring.
Yeah.
Whereas if someone like you were up there just making
they should do
fun
one with two comedians who don't know anything about surfing.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that! Oh, shut up! Have you ever heard, dude? I agree with you. I agree. A little bit of color commentary isn't bad, but there's I think there's a lot of opportunities to kind of brand yourself in social media and on YouTube, on a lot of things that I think that would. I feel like if the brand brings you cool shit, you appreciate the brand.
Definitely.
I believe that. But so back to the actual design and. Like, what did you guys draw up 5 and be like, all right, top 5?
Right. I think that's a little more. We probably drew up, our first product line was pretty small. We probably ended up with something like 20 sandals,
20 different types of sandals?
No, I would say maybe less, maybe 8 men's and 8 women's, and maybe each one came in a few colors.
Same? Like, you had
No, some were similar, some were quite different gender wise. And, and we had probably started with 2 or 3 times that many and then whittled it down. And yeah, and that's the typical design process is you might start off just hand sketching something. And then you go into the computer and you do it in some kind of, we typically use Adobe Illustrator because sandals are not that complicated to design. You don't have to do a bunch of 3D modeling or anything.
Yeah.
And the main thing you want to be able to do is adjust like colors and textures really quickly. And that's really easy to do in Illustrator.
Yeah.
It's kind of a counterpart to Photoshop. Everyone knows Photoshop. Illustrator is like the other side of that. But
I can smell out a challenge. All you guys go with Adobe, send me your design of flip-flops.
Yes.
Tag Freewater, tag me. I'm dying to see your design of flip-flops. By the way, I'm hoping for some. Remember when they had Homer Simpson design a car?
I love it.
You don't remember that? Hey, type in Homer Simpson designs a car. The car he made was fucking hilarious. So I would love to see some. I know we got.
But along those lines, like I want people to do this challenge. You know why? Because everyone thinks, oh, flip flop, man, that's the easiest thing to design in the world. I like to say designing a flip like it's like designing a golf cart.
Yeah.
Like you've got nothing to work with.
Yeah.
Right? You've got a bottom that you can't see once your foot's on it, and this tiny little thing that goes over your foot. Whereas versus a car where you've got doors and windows and a roof, like a flip flop is like a golf cart. Like try to design a nice golf cart.
Yeah, I guess I'd probably be doing exactly what you're doing. Yeah.
It's tough, man. It's a good challenge.
Yeah, guys, hit us up. Yeah, no, you maybe have a job. Fucking all of a sudden you're like, these are good designs. So you design your 8 for women, 8 for men.
Yeah, something like that.
And then you go. You have. I know Zane Lamprey is a good friend of mine. I'd love to get you and him together. But Zane's the guy. He does YouTube. No, never mind. Kickstarter. Jackets. But
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you go over to Asia and then I'm going to go feel leathers for a week
Yep, rub up on some leathers.
and just be like, I like that. I don't like that. Because I
Yep,
do like your leather
huge.
choices.
They've got huge binders of fabric swatches. It's kind of like buying a couch, you know.
Can I tell you? It took me forever to buy this couch, and I don't even like it. It took me forever to buy a couch. It takes me forever because I'm like, I don't know. Maybe can I go back to the other one? I would never be able to buy leathers. I would make me insane.
Yeah, but the process is really cool, and it kind of goes like this. So you drop the designs. You go over to Asia, you know, you can also there's a few domestic people that'll make flip-flops, or you can do them in Latin America. We chose Asia because that's where all our connections were, and the quality there is fantastic. And you choose fabrics and rubbers and foams, and you choose like the durometer or the hardness of them. So you spec out everything. They make you your first sample. You look at it, you go, okay, make some tweaks. And then eventually what we do is we create a sample that what we call a photo sample that we photograph, right? And we put that into a catalog. And then we create what we call our sales samples, which is usually in the next round. So you maybe modify it one more time, make it a little better. You produce a small amount of samples that you're going to give to your sales team to go out and sell with, right? So this is for like traditional wholesale retail approach.
Yeah.
And we would have our sales agents go out and show Valsurf. They show up with a catalog that's got photos of the photo samples with sizing and pricing and all the colors. And they show up with a bag full of the sales samples, which have got prototypes of all the stuff. Or they show up in an REI or wherever they might go. And they go, hey, here's the Freewaters line. What do you guys think? You know, will you bring this product in? And the lead time's long, right? Like you might go out in June, sell the stuff through the summer. You start manufacturing in the fall, winter, and you deliver it the next spring.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And so what was the thing you think that put you guys over the edge? Do you think it was, because I feel like it was your story.
The story for sure.
I feel
the
like
product, the product too, like our product was legit, like right out the gate. So I think it was the combination, but definitely like it's hard.
And that there's not many options when it comes to flip-flops.
There's not many options, but it's very hard for even someone in retail to look at one flip-flop and look at another flip-flop and go, wow, yeah, this one's really way better than that one.
I totally can.
No, you can.
I should be a fucking buyer.
But the average consumer can't do that at all. They're just like, my God, all I see is black and brown. You know, everything's a flip-flop. I have no idea.
A lot of it's name recognition. I think a lot of it, people go, oh, Reef.
Yeah,
I know Reef.
Yeah, it's like buying tires.
Yeah.
Oh, I had Goodyears. I'm just going
Goodyear.
to stick with Goodyear.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. So the brand story definitely helped separate us and get us noticed for sure. But also the product, the designs were different than what were out there. Because we really felt like either everything was like a basic leather or it was athletic at that time. Like the Reefs and that they looked very sporty, almost like a running shoe converted into a sandal.
It did.
And we didn't like those.
I don't like those at all.
Yeah. So we found a kind of niche in between for how the product looked.
I don't want a flip flop that looks like you could play tennis in it.
No, it shouldn't look like a race car.
Yeah, like the ones that are like sleeked back and you're like and like flary. I don't want it goes up your sides. I don't want that. I personally, I'm very picky, but once again, I grew up in Florida. So then you put out your first line.
Yep.
And then like you have like a post-mortem after the first year and you go, okay, what sold and what didn't sell?
Yep.
And what sold better than anything?
Exactly. But in the challenge, because of the long timeline, you don't even get that first year. You got to start committing to the next year's line before you even know what's done well.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, it's tough. So it really takes 2 years to figure out like what's doing well and what's not. So it's a challenging game that way, you know, versus like software where, you just update the software to version 2.678 and fix something and the next day you release it and you're good to go.
So you'd be like, okay, almost like go to your local surf shops and be like, look at your own line and be like, wow, this seems to be selling quicker than the other ones.
Right.
We should focus on that one.
Correct.
And then this doesn't seem to be moving. I wonder if we can do some tweaks to this.
Yep.
And then sell that one.
Yep.
So you do 2 years. At the end of 2 years, where do you find yourself? You're like, okay, this seems to be working. This doesn't seem to be working.
Yep. We were able to identify which were kind of our core styles that were working.
Yeah.
And then everything else we would just scrap and try a bunch of new stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many products out of the 8, you maybe came out with 8, How many of the products do you hold on to, and how many do you scrap?
Maybe you hold on to like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 or 3 will be like your home run hitters that are really doing well, and the rest are kind of like, eh.
Really?
And so you just move on from those and you experiment with new stuff, hoping to get like another home run that you can shift over into your home run.
Until you have all home runs.
Exactly.
And then you're in the green. Now, what's the one product that you've held on to since day one? Do you have that?
We don't really. We had one called the Dude, which has gone up and down and morphed into different things, and now it's back again. It probably only disappeared for a year or two. It's but the Dude kind of a reference.
Pull up the Dude. I'll see if I own that one.
Yeah. Yeah, and now we have one called the Supreme, which is similar to the Dude, but this is our best-selling one now.
I have the. Which one's that? Is that the
It's
real
called the
cushy
Supreme.
one? I got that one.
Yeah, it's a really cushy bottom with just like a simple, clean webbing top.
I think I have that
got
one. Mine's might be a little more round.
Yeah.
Should have brought all my flip-flops in here. Yeah, it's a really comfortable flip-flop.
It is.
It's really
simple.
cushiony.
It's really cushiony. It's funny, like, again, with sandals, like you think, oh, it's easy to design a sandal. But one of the big challenges with flip-flops is how do you create a sandal that you try it on right away and it's comfy, like right out the gate. The minute you try it on, it's already squishy and comfy.
Yeah.
But it lasts.
That's okay.
Right.
Now we're getting to the problem with the Dillon. So the Dillon had to be, when you were talking about foams, the problem had to be in the foam.
Yeah.
The foam was what
The foam was a little on the soft side,
I loved
which
that.
felt incredible.
Yeah.
And for some people, it lasted a month until it started like really, you lost that cushioning. Some people it lasted a year or two. It just depends how often you wear it, how hard you are on your flip-flops.
I'm pretty hard on flip-flops.
Yeah, look at those
These are
things.
actually new. I'm sure the wear and tear. Look, these are 2 different flip-flops. You can tell these are older than these. So we'll
Right.
look at these. This is
It's custom molded to your foot.
really, that's what I loved. It said it was custom molded to your foot. And I mean, you can see where my big toe is. You can see the color of where my foot stands.
Yeah.
You can still see the Freewater emblem at the bottom. Like I hadn't worn that out. I loved the inside. This was a great call.
The padding on the
padding
inside.
on the inside was a really great call.
That's nice.
Because I didn't even notice it until a few months in. Like it wasn't immediate. But one of the things that I didn't like about Rainbow was that it was just leather. And if you did, and by the way, if it was too small for your foot, you'd rip it sometimes. This gave a lot of, and dude, the most important part of a flip flop, especially for anyone tactile. What do you call this part?
Toe post.
Toe post?
Yeah.
Bro, you bring me
It's a make or break, the toe post.
toe post. I have flip flops. I wish I had brought all my flip flops in here. I have flip flops that I've bought that look cool, that are fucking horrible because the toe post. I feel like I'm getting sexually assaulted. It's the toe post is so aggressive. It's prison aggressive.
There's got to be like 10 million little nerve endings in between your big toe and your second toe.
You need a great toe. So when you design a toe post, how do you come up with the toe post? Is it associated with this cushioning?
No, it's a separate piece, so it can be its own deal. And it's a funny deal, man. Our first year and our first product launch, we were all about that. We're like, we're going to create the most comfortable, innovative toe post ever. And we created on like more of like a rubber style flip flop, like a pool flip flop, like a Havaiana type style.
I think you had those, right? You did have those. I bought those.
Yeah, we've always
had
had
those.
those.
My buddy Tom Hayslip put them on once in Hawaii, and I'll never wear them again. I won't wear flip flops that another man puts on his foot. I'd rather have you spit in my mouth than take my flip flop. I just posted that the other day. I was like, would you rather have
that's
another
not
man wear your
unreasonable.
flip flop or spit in your mouth? Everyone's like, spit in my mouth, spit in my mouth.
And so we tried to design this custom molded rubber toe post that had 2 parts. One part that was harder on the back and a really soft, squishy, almost like a gel on the front. And we're like, we've solved. We are now the sandal kings. This thing is going to revolutionize the sandal world. And in the end, it was just too much. Like in the end, it wasn't as comfortable as we had hoped, and it was so complicated. Then in the end, like what most people want is just a really soft webbing, which is what you're holding. That it kind of just disappears between your toes, and
You don't want to
notice
notice your toe post.
No.
If you notice your toe post, that flip flop's dead in the fucking water.
Yeah.
It's
People are going to walk away from this podcast being like highly educated on flip flops.
I hope they are.
They can educate the people that work at the surf shops now.
Did you weigh your flip flops at all and go like, they can't be too heavy?
Yes. Weight is crucial. And you know the main thing is like there's the weight under your foot once you try them on.
Yeah.
But even more important in many ways is the weight in your hand when you take them off the shelf and you feel them.
Yeah.
It's a really cool kind of subconscious judgment that we all make about the quality of the flip-flop. If it's too light, it feels cheap, right? If it's too heavy, you're like, no, this thing's a brick.
Dude,
so there's this magic spot.
I picked up a kettlebell of a flip-flop called an Olakai the other day. This thing was so fucking heavy. I go, are these meant to dance in? Like, what? Like, they're so fucking... I remember when Olakai showed up on the market and everyone's like, I saw them. They look so beautiful. But once again, you're talking about designing a golf cart because it doesn't matter what they look like. It's just... I said something the other day, and I said something about flip-flops the other day to my friend, and he goes, I just wear them to not get glass in my foot. And Olakai has these beautiful designs on the inside that are so elaborate. And then you're like, it's just going, no one's going to see that but me. And if they're good flip-flops, I'm going to darken all that in and it's going to be filled with dirt and it's not going to look attractive. Yeah. But they're the heaviest fucking shoes. And they're $115.
Yeah.
$115 for a pair of Olakais. I got to be honest with you. I believe, and I think I've told you this, I believe Olakai are meant for rich white men who want to go to a nice restaurant, but want to know that they're not just wearing flip-flops. These are Olakais. They're guys that go to Hawaii and go, I want to get a pair of flip-flops. We're in Hawaii. What kind of flip? Ooh, these have the hook from Moana. I'm going to throw those on my feet. Honey, what do you think about these? Do they look good? I don't know. How much are they? $119? Those are good flip-flops. It's like if Polo teamed up with a fucking with Reef and built. It's like such a fucking. And I was an Olakai guy. I've got Olakai in my house. I bought. Look, supporter of the company. Yeah. I bought every flip-flop there is to fucking buy. And if I go in and I say I've always wanted to be able to wear like Caligula flip-flops, like like just leather. Be a purist.
Yeah.
A leather, a staple, right here, like a just a post of gold, a gold knot right here, and it's a flip flop, leather bottom. Dude, they're so fucking uncomfortable. I gotta be comfortable in a flip flop. It's the whole purpose of putting a flip flop on is you're overweight. You don't feel like bending over. You don't want to be carrying around fucking horseshoes. Olakais feel like you are been shooed by a horse. They're so fucking heavy. By the way, don't even get me started on Reef, because like Reef bothers me in the same way a comedian going, do you remember when you play Monopoly? Like what's up with Radio Shack, huh? Like Radio Shack? Shack's in the title, everybody. It's a shack. Like, it's such a hacky flip-flop. Reef they started so high. And then what happened is some corporate conglomerate, I guarantee you, swooped in, was like, we can do this quicker, faster, and for less money. Guys, first of all, I don't know why we are worried about quality. It's a fucking flip-flop, people. My job, and he's got slick back hair and he's in a suit. Sir, have you ever worn a flip-flop? He's fired. Why would you ask me that question? Dude, I have real strong feelings about flip-flops.
I love it. I'm going to just sit here and be quiet and let you do that. That was fantastic.
I'm sure they'll all hit me up and be like, yo, man, why all the hate about Olakai?
What's the hate?
Nothing, no hate. It's like, I'll tell you right now, The Rock doesn't wear them, and he grew up in fucking Hawaii. Find out what's on The Rock's foot. That's what we need to do. Find out what's on The Rock's foot. We got to get The Rock a pair of Freewaters.
It's got to be a big foot, right?
It's
a big man.
I don't think you make his size. I'm not joking. He's 6'5". If his foot looks like anything like his traps at all, you're not gonna have a fucking.
That's where we're more than happy to customize something for. Someone of his stature.
Everyone, shout out to Dwayne Johnson. Let's get Dwayne a pair of fucking flip flops.
Yeah.
So then we'll get back to the reason this all started. Is I fell in love with these flip flops. How did the Dillon do initially? When did you start making them? Obviously before 2014.
Yes. I don't remember exactly. It was probably 2012, 2013, somewhere
2012. In there. You make the Dillon. You do the
soft foam in the mid layer and the soft bubble on the bottom, which feels incredible in the beginning.
Oh,
and that's what it was, man. We had love hate with the Dillon, right? Like we had people like you. They're like, "This is the best sandal you guys have ever made. This is all I want." And then we had other people that are like, "Yo, man, cool sandal. I've been wearing about a month. The thing's like done." And so we looked at it and we're like,
I just write back, lose weight.
Yeah.
It's you, not us.
We needed you back.
By the way, I'm fucking overweight and I love these things.
Yeah.
But they do, you're right. They do break in or as I call it earning a flip flop. Like you earn it and it becomes your foot, and then all of a sudden you put it on, you don't even feel like you have flip flops on. You find yourself in a podcast playing with it with your foot, and your foot finds its natural grooves. It really becomes an extension of your leisure.
You want to know a funny little side story?
Please.
I don't think I actually wore a flip flop until I was 18 because I grew up in Northern California.
Yeah.
And especially back then, like people weren't, surf culture wasn't as pervasive as it is now. Like now you go up there, everyone's wearing flip flops. But back then, man, it was like Tevas, or Birkenstocks.
Is that how you say it? Tevas?
Yeah.
I say Tevas.
Well, I think it's Hebrew, right? It's Teva means nature.
I'm sorry. They're a fucking Jewish company. Like they're on.
Don't.
What kind? I'm calling Ari right now. Teva is a fucking shout out to active Jews. Since when were Jews? Are you Jewish?
Of course, man.
Shut the fuck up. My best friend Ari is fucking one of the most active human beings. I got to get him in a pair of Tevas.
Ari who?
Ari Shafir, you don't know him.
We're all related, though.
Yeah, he's definitely part of the chosen people. He was Hasidic. Wait, do some research, Halston. Find out if Teva. I would. By the way,
I think the original founder might. I don't know. They've been bought since then, so it's not like that anymore. But anyway,
I remember when
I grew up.
Called him Tevas. I remember when Tevas came out.
Yeah, I think most people call them Tevas because most people aren't that versed in Hebrew as us. But
Tevas.
So then I go to college at UC Santa Barbara. Right. And
type in Teva's Jewish.
Or Teva's original founder.
Yeah. By the way, we're gonna get some alt-right website that's like, as a matter of fact, majority of single school shooters, right. Mark Thatcher.
Oh. Unless he changed his last name.
No, yeah. I don't, but I bet that's not him. I bet Halston, you do the research. We're going to talk.
Yeah. So anyway, it's just hilarious, right? That I go to college at UC Santa Barbara and I show up down there in my Tevas and quickly make friends with some guys from San Diego County that were up there. And they were like, yo, man, like we like you and everything. And we want to like smoke this bong with you. But yo, like the Tevas got, like, you can't wear those in our room. This is in the dorms. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you got to lose those things. So they hit me to the game. I was like, oh, well, what? And they're like, get yourself some rainbows, get yourself something, but some Havaianas, you can't be wearing those around here. And that was like my introduction to legit flip-flops. Pretty fun.
Havaianas are a really interesting flip-flop. I wonder what their cost is. They got to be cheap to make, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But man, those are interesting because when you see a guy in old Havaianas, you're like, oh, that guy relaxes a lot.
Yeah.
Like that's a guy who he rides his bike in those, he skateboards in those. He rode a motorcycle in those. Havaianas is a really interesting brand. I can't wear them. I have tactile issues. So like certain textures will freak me out. I have a hard time wearing I'll say Tevas, but I have a hard time wearing Tevas unless I'm camping. But even still camping, I wore these. We went camping in Alabama. I wore these all day by the fireplace. But when we went in the water, I threw on a pair of Tevas because I know that I'll lose one of these in the water.
A lot of people think when they go camping, they need some kind of full on, we call it a cage sandal, right? Where your foot's like caged in with like multiple straps.
Bro, definitely something you want to throw out this summer in conversation. Nice cage sandal. Just throw that out in conversation at a fucking cookout. Cool cage sandal, huh?
Yeah.
What? I prefer mine not to be caught by the Trump administration. Mine's a free range sandal.
But to your point, actually what you want a lot of times is just something to cruise around easy and that you can kick on and off in and out of the tent, right? And you can actually scurry up some pretty good stuff in just a basic flip flop.
I will give you this compliment. What I like about these exact ones, the Dillon, is when you are, and I have been, recently we were over in La Jolla and I was on these when we were scurrying over rocks. What I find with these is and I know that people had complaints that they were too thin, but they really do contour to the rock,
so
protect your foot. You can feel the rock.
Yeah.
And I love that about these flip-flops. But so you make the Dillon in 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
They perform well, but you get feedback.
Yeah.
Feedback from the surf shops, or is it online?
Yeah. No, I would say it's mostly we hear like from our sales guys, right? Because they'll be out in different parts of the country, and they get a lot of feedback from the shops. We definitely get feedback direct from customers, like wanting to send them back or get them replaced or
Really?
whatever it might be. Like, hey, like bought you these, loved them, but they only lasted me 3 months.
What
You
kind
know,
of fucking person? That's the same person that returns a tomato that went bad. Fucking just go buy a new pair, bro. Like, what the fuck?
And so, yeah. And so, like you said, we were like, all right, let's go to the next evolution of it. Let's make it a little firmer. We ended up changing the leather color a little bit. We changed the bottom so it lasted a little longer. And then it became the next evolution, which I think was
I have those.
the open country, or there might've been one in between, but essentially what we have now is called the open country, which is like our best selling style.
The one, no,
The new version of the Dillon.
I have to. I have those. Or it's a light brown.
Yeah.
I have those. The only problem I have with light brown is they get dirty quicker.
Yeah.
But that's a really comfortable flip flop, and I found myself wearing those more often than not. But now, when you just out of curiosity, when you changed the foam and the rubber, how much higher a percentage did you go? Did you go like they're like, well, we can bump it up 1. You're like, bump it up 10. We want it to last a little longer.
You know, I don't know, because that's really Martin's forte.
Really?
Yeah, they call it asker, which is a way they basically take this pressure gauge and push on the foam.
Yeah.
And like I think a change of even just 5 in asker is a big change in firmness. I'd have to ask him, but if I had to guess, we maybe made it like 20-30% stiffer.
Really?
Yeah, so that it's still comfortable and soft, but it lasts long enough to where people are happy.
Yeah. I wonder.
It's a delicate balance.
It's a delicate balance because I wonder if you just didn't reach a big enough market to find. I wonder if sometimes you listen to the complainers more than the people that liked it.
Dude, I think you're making a great point.
Because, a lot of people love to complain.
Yep.
And especially
those are the ones you
online.
hear from.
Anyone who's going to send a flip-flop back, I would never listen to them about anything, ever. I'd be like, I'm sorry, you're someone who packed up your flip-flops and mailed them to a company to get a new pair. You're dead to me. That's like, I'll appreciate if someone comes up to me after a show with a comment, like, but cool. But if someone loses their shit on me after a comedy show, like, and it's happened, I just go, yeah, but you're also the person that's shaking, talking to me, really upset about a joke that everyone laughed at and you didn't. I kind of got to write you off as to like, you're an outlier. You don't belong.
Right.
Maybe comedy's not your thing. Like maybe you should go find like a really heartfelt foreign film to watch.
Right.
Chuck and Buck's a good movie. Go watch that. You're not from my thing.
Dude,
but that's not to say you can't take criticism.
No, I think you're making a great point. I think it applies to any business, right? Because the squeaky people out there are going to make the most noise. But are they necessarily the ones you should be listening to? Yeah. Yeah,
I guess sometimes, especially if it's your own sales team going, we're getting some feedback back.
Right.
But I will tell you, I mean, I don't own 4 for no reason.
Yeah.
Like it's just the greatest fucking flip flop. No, before we get into my heartfelt plea to bring the Dillon back, which, real quick, what's a bottom line you got to sell on these Dillons to make it a reasonable reason to bring them back? Like how many, if you sold 100,000 pairs of flip flops, would that be good?
Oh, we're flying high. I'm bringing over like kilos and kilos of weed for you if that happens. No, even like 5,000, 10,000 would be good. Good
It's
start.
all you got to sell for me to bring these back?
Yeah.
Bro.
We're at road.
Bro. I'll sell 5,000 in Chicago. Can we bring this flip flop back and then set up a flip flop stand at my merch table so people can buy flip flops?
I love that idea. I think it suits you perfectly.
Dude, and these are back pocket flip flops. You could throw them in your back pocket all night long, walk around, and then at the end of the night, go, fuck it. Kicks are coming off. I'm going flip flops, baby. I want you to show up to my show shoeless. I want people showing up to my shows shoeless to buy their flip flops. I want you to call me going, I can't believe what you're doing for our fucking flip flop brand. I have, obviously, I think this is a lot more complicated. This is the problem with me is I have great ideas, and then they're like, yeah, it's a little more complicated than that, Bert. I'm like, well, not in my book.
We got to try that. At least try it once, see what happens.
Let's do it in Los Angeles.
Yeah, perfect. Because I can just drive up.
Yeah, I'm at the Ace. I'm doing 2 shows at the Ace. September 13th.
Okay.
Let's do it in Los Angeles.
That'd be fantastic, man.
I don't know. How long was
I don't know if I can do the Dillons by then.
Well, obviously that's what we're talking about.
Oh,
how long does it take to make the Dillons? If you already have the setup.
We do.
How long would it take to make?
It would probably take a minimum of 3 months. Might take a little longer.
Can we have them by Christmas?
Yeah, I think that's doable.
Could we have them by Christmas?
That's not the best time to be selling flip-flops.
Not to my fans.
Yeah.
My fans, there's no thought process in our purchases. Are you fucking kidding? We buy things on a whim.
Let's shoot for that.
Should we shoot for Christmas?
Yeah.
I'll be off tour then.
Either that or early spring, because that's good sandal season.
But it's so far out that I think we're going to lose people's interest. They'll be like, oh yeah, whatever happened to that flip-flop?
Yeah.
How quick would be the turnaround on one pair? Do you like how once over, just maybe a size 12.
Yeah.
But Jimmy, what's the turnaround on that? Do you like how I just went from every one of my show going, yeah, I can't wait to get these flip-flops. I go, fuck these guys. Just me.
Do you see people wearing flip-flops to your shows?
No, I don't see it, but I don't look at people's feet.
That's true.
To be honest with you.
A little hard in the spotlight.
I don't see people wearing flip-flops to my shows, but I am doing, here's what I would like. I would like to do a long tail of this and get, I'm sure I'm doing I don't know what my tour schedules look like. Let me see. See if it's in my calendar. I'm on tour until November 23rd in Cleveland.
Okay.
I then start up. Why isn't it in my fucking calendar? Fucking so goddamn frustrating sometimes. I start up again, I think, in January. I'm not supposed to be saying this out loud, but I think I start up again in January. It would be, I guess, a flip-flop in the winter is a tough sale.
Yeah.
But not really.
No, I mean, I think I'm going to go back to the office tomorrow and be like, good morning, everybody.
How quick can we turn out? I guarantee you, I guarantee you online, I guarantee you I could sell, without a doubt, I bet we could probably move 5,000 flip-flops just online orders.
Yeah. I
think there's a lot of people that would be like, I'm just curious about this fucking flip-flop. And then I think there's also, my thing is I really don't want to just sell one flip-flop for you. I want people to meet your brand.
Yeah.
Because I bought a pair of canvas strapped ones yesterday, and I wore them around all day yesterday going, God, these are really comfortable. The leather on the foot, on the sole is really fantastic.
Nice.
I really kind of want to go into your R&D and design my own flip-flop.
That would be fun.
And be like, here's all the things I like. But base it, like, God damn it, I just love this flip-flop so much. And you got in my head when you're like, yeah, we had to discontinue them because people were complaining. I started going, and what am I not noticing? You ever date a chick and then you find out your buddy dated her and you're like, hey, why did you break up with her? And he's like, I don't want to bring it up. It'll get in your head. And you're like, fuck, what is it? And he's like, I don't know, look at her ankles. And you're like, God damn it. I was in love with her and said, you said, look at her ankles.
Oh, man.
Yeah, go back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And see what the quickest we can make a flip-flop.
Yeah. Yep. Who is that cat with the watermelons that smashed the watermelons?
It's Gallagher.
Yeah, Gallagher. I'm gonna put a Dillon on the table and just sledgehammer a Gallagher.
guys, we're partnering with a comedian. We're moving Dillons.
We're bringing it back, baby.
I think I ideally what I'd love is to have I've talked to my wife about this. We're taking this podcast a little bigger. We're getting a different space for the podcast, and it's going to be a little nicer, and want to put more money into it. What I'd love to do is every time someone does a podcast, give them a care package of shit I dig so that they dig also. So
that's cool.
So ideally someone would come, like Moshe and Natasha would come on the podcast, and then I could be like, oh, I have you tried, because Moshe is a big surfer. Have you tried this flip-flop? It's my favorite flip-flop. It's like an Oprah kind of way. Hey, do you I love candied jalapenos. I really do love candied jalapenos, and I don't think enough people know about them. And Bill Burr was just shitting on them the other day online. On the same day, I am making candied jalapenos. And so you put in some candied jalapenos.
Yeah.
Rachel Ray did that to me. one of the most amazing things that I'd ever experienced, because she called me and said, hey, I'm doing this segment. It's about the shit I love. And there's this place I love in upstate New York. And I would love for you to go and do the interview. And then we're going to it'll be, but it's all about things I love. So I love Rachel. So I was like, yeah, of course. I had a dream about her last night, oddly enough. So I flew out to upstate New York and I did one segment in the smokehouse. I forget the name of the smokehouse. But I did one segment. Can you look up the name of the smokehouse I did for Rachel Ray? Because it's important to this story, because I did this at this smokehouse and I got done and I flew home and Rachel sent me a care package of all the shit she liked. And in it was this white cheddar cheese and this Oscar's. It's Oscar's Smokehouse in upstate New York. Oscar makes this mustard. Google Oscar's mustard. Dude, I swear to you on my children, it's better than pussy. This mustard is so fucking good that I would get excited when people came over and I would spoon it out and go, you got to try this more than mustard. Oscar's smoke more than mustard.
Wow.
It is the greatest mustard I've ever had in my life. I would have it on, my mouth is watering right now. It is such a great mustard, especially on this smoked white cheddar cheese Oscar had. And people, I would get excited to let them be like, this is fucking good. I go, and then of course, me, I have a story behind everything. Rachel Ray sent me up to upstate New York to go visit Oscar. Oscar's a good guy, Oh, but like, I would love
to. It's all about the sauce, man.
Yeah.
That place we were at today, this Taiwanese place in Silver Lake, it's all about the sauces.
Dude.
Any good Thai place, it's all about the sauces.
There's a salsa that we were in New Mexico. We went training with Greg Jackson. I wonder if Greg Jackson knows it. I wonder if Schaub knows this place. We went to a place to have Mexican food, and their salsa was so good, I bought a case of them. I said, do you guys sell the salsa here and there? So we do. I said, I want a case. I gave everyone in my crew one, and I said, this is the best salsa I've ever had. My wife for Christmas gave me a case of the salsa for myself. Dude, I love breaking it out. It's the best salsa. It's such a good fucking salsa.
And on a good chip, forget about it.
My mouth is fucking watering.
Do you like Korean barbecue?
I love Korean barbecue.
Okay, so Martin, my co-founder, is Korean.
Yeah.
And when I saw him yesterday before I drove up here, the last thing he said before I walked out the door of the office, he's like, by the way, tell Bert everything's cool on the podcast. Nothing bad happens. He doesn't hurt you and everything's cool. I'm taking out for Korean barbecue. The legit one, like here in K-Town. The one where you got to be Korean.
You got to be Korean?
You got to go through like 4 different doors and be Korean at each door.
I went there with
That's the one he wants to take you in.
I went there with Roy Choi.
Yeah.
Roy Choi created Kogi taco trucks. He revolutionized taco trucks.
Yeah. Oh man.
They lived next door to us, and he was like, "You want to go to Korean barbecue?" And I was like, "Yeah." And we walked in. No one spoke English, and I was useless without him. I was like, "This is so fucked up." I was like, "If I brought you to a place where no one even made eye contact with you because you're white, like they literally like, whatever that guy wants. What do you need, Roy?" And then he just ordered for all of us. Dude, the fucking best food in the world.
Yep.
Tell Martin I'm taking him up on that.
Oh yeah, no.
Tell Martin I'm taking. Let's go to the office. Take some time. I'm home for a month.
Okay.
And then let's me, you, and Martin sit down and talk and see what we can come up with. Because I really believe in good products, and you're the first product that's ever talked back to me. And I really think there's big things to happen. I think there's a lot of people that aren't wearing flip-flops because they just don't know anything about flip-flops.
Right. No, it's cool, man. I mean, clearly you grew up wearing flip-flops. You're passionate about, you understand it. It'd be fun to have you down there and like do some R&D with us. Like, hey, let's bring back Dillon, but maybe you've got ideas on how to make it even better, or maybe we bring it back exactly the way it was.
Yeah, with like a little branding, like the machine right here.
Yeah, maybe there's just like
a
naked Bert upper body stamped into the heel.
God, I'm thinking of all the possibilities. My mind's going crazy. So now tell me real quick before we end this, I want to know what's the future? Where do you see the future of flip-flops going? Do you see trends in the market? I know you guys have, I've been on site. I know you guys are doing shoes, but you're also doing flip-flops with a strap on top, which I don't have, and I would love to I can only go out to REI to get them.
Yeah.
I saw them at REI and I almost bought them, not even knowing they were Freewaters.
Yeah. REI has been an amazing partner for us.
That's a great fucking partner to have. I'm so excited we work with them.
The green vest.
Do you realize
We can get him to
what
sponsor
a
the podcast.
big swinging dick I would be if I worked for you guys? I would walk into REI like, Bert Kreischer, Freewaters? Like, huh? Where are Freewaters? I'd be rearranging the display. Can I talk to the sales team over here? Guys, we want to be front and center. Fuck Tevas, okay? That's 1980s shit. We're 2000 motherfuckers. Oh,
I'm ready to retire. You're going to take my job. It's been fantastic.
dude, I just want to help. I just want to help. I just really want that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
no,
go back.
No, but to your point, what's cool is there's a couple things that happen that are really cool, especially for us as a footwear brand. The first thing happened is like starting about 15 years ago. I would say 15 years ago, if you were a surfer, you looked nothing like the cat that was rock climbing in Yosemite. You wore different stuff. You listened to different music. You hung out with different people. Like those were two completely different worlds. Now those walls have completely come down. You're basically the same person.
Yeah.
Right. You've got Volcom pants on and a Patagonia shirt on. You're surfing in the morning. You're going out and camping or rock climbing in the afternoon. And I would say beyond just surfing outdoor, like all those walls have come down. And so suddenly now a flip-flop brand that might have only appealed to one group appeals to everybody. And so when we started, we were definitely more beach surf oriented.
Yeah.
And then within the first couple of years, we definitely, as those walls came down, we migrated more into surf and outdoor, and REI came on as a partner. And now over the last few years, what we've really seen is like where we see a big opportunity for us is around travel, right? Because travel really encompasses everything, right?
Hate to throw in my expertise here, but I worked for Travel Channel for 9 years. My wife will say it was 6. It was fucking 9. Keep going.
So yeah, and so that's really, so there's so much opportunity now because I think just with Instagram and everything, like everyone's so excited to travel to all these beautiful, remote, exotic places.
Travel's exploded for this country.
Yeah, and if you're traveling, you need at least one pair of flip flops in your bag, maybe two, depending on what you're doing. And then the other thing that's happening that I know you see, which I love, is like, I call it like the sweatpants effect, where everyone wants to be comfortable as fuck, even when they're going to like a 5-star dinner. Like you can, now it's okay. You can show up to a 5-star dinner in like fancy sweatpants. And so it's kind of this comfort. Everyone wants to be comfortable. You still want to be stylish. And so now they figured out ways to make sweatpants like stylish.
Dude,
right?
There's a company we pair with that makes nursing outfits. Carlson, you remember the name of this company? We've done reads for them. And they sent me, they really make nursing healthcare clothes for healthcare professionals.
Like smocks.
No, nursing clothes used to be like a doctor's smock, just a top and a bottom, and they were like pajamas. Now they're making like legit, comfortable, stylish nursing pants. But I put on a pair the other day and I wore them to dinner. They're nice looking. I know what you're saying. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And everything's stretch, even for guys now, like stretchy jeans and stretchy shirts. So
Figs is the name of the company. It's a great sponsor.
So that's really cool for us too. Like there's so much opportunity there that like, just as a culture, we want to be casual and really comfortable, but still kind of stylish. That's like right where we're at.
That's great. That's great. What, and the ones that have the hitch over the top, those flip-flops that have the little extra strap.
Extra strap, the trifecta.
The trifecta.
Yeah, that's interesting because it's like a basic flip-flop that you slide into, but then there's, instead of being a cage, not a full cage, it's a half cage where you just adjust one additional strap over your foot, which kind of allows you to like lock it down and adjust the amount of flipping or flopping that you may want or not want, depending on what you're doing.
They're like BDSM flip-flops. You decide what cage you want to be in. And you have a safe word. You're like, unlock.
Unlock. Unstrap.
Yeah.
So I think between that and then, with the water project stuff too, I think people want to do good shit. They want to help. And it's an easy way. I think when people go choice A, just a product, choice B, also a really good product that actually does good shit in the world, I go choice B. People want to do that now, even if it costs me a few bucks more.
I have so many fucking ideas. I'm teaming with ideas. So what's our next step? You go back to the office. Yep. We'll see how quick we can get.
I'm going to throw a Dillon through the window.
See how quick we can turn around product.
Yeah.
I would love.
We're definitely going to do some Korean barbecue.
We'll do Korean barbecue. Me and Martin and up here. We'll do it within the month because I would love to talk to you guys before I leave.
Okay.
So once I gone, I'm fucking kind of gone.
Okay.
I'd love to have you guys. I know we extended an invite to the Caboose show I'm doing in San Diego. You're more than
Oh
welcome
man,
to come
that'd be
to that.
so fun.
Yeah, because I know you're down there, but
Yep.
but we are doing shows at the Ace Hotel. I wonder. I wish I was. I used to just perform in flip flops. I wish I still did, but it would be a little forced right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm already have my shirt off. And everyone's like, Jesus
Right.
Christ, you're literally one article of clothing away from being naked.
No, it's cool. You could just rock the hat.
Yeah, it's a great hat. It fits my head. I don't hats like this. Trucker hats never fit my head. So I have a size 8.
Yeah.
Hence my connection with these guys. But this fits my fucking head. This is gonna be a great. So we're halfway there to bringing back the Dillon. We're halfway there.
Yeah.
You'll do the work on your side. I've done my side. I'm so close. I feel like we're so close. And then dream scenario. Tell me your dream scenario. I'll tell you my dream scenario.
Okay. Dream scenario. Let's see. 2 years from now,
Yeah.
the Dillon is a household name. I mean,
oh my God.
right?
Which means I'm
talking
a household fucking name.
like Vitamix.
Which means keep going.
You got like Vitamix and then you got the Dillon.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
You want to hear my dream scenario?
Yeah.
Me and you are finishing a joint in the back of a limousine pulling up to LAX. Car stops. We get out. Bill Burr and Tom Segura are waiting for us. They're wearing flip-flops. They're wearing the Dillon, obviously. Tom's like, you guys made it. I thought you guys weren't going to make it. And we're like, no. And they go, where's Joe Coy? I go, he's not here yet? Joe Coy comes running up from the side. You mother... He's wearing Dillons too. I can't believe we're about to take a trip to Haiti, Kenya, and the Philippines together to promote clean drinking water. And Bill goes, no, I really appreciate you guys doing this. I'm going to fly us there in a helicopter. This dream's stretching out. It's spinning out of control. Cut to, we're in the Philippines doing a live show in our Dillons. I'm shirtless with some shirts on. Sold out arena. Manny Pacquiao comes on stage, says in broken English, I want to help. How do I help? And we go, all you have to do is help bring the Dillon to the Philippines. He was like, I think that's a lot of ask because we don't have a lot of money here. And I mean, I don't know if we're going to spend our money on flip-flops considering we make our own down here. But my dream is to make the Dillon a household name. Is when people to put on a flip-flop to go. My dream is next summer for a guy from Cleveland, Ohio, to be in Clearwater Beach with his wife and kids on their vacation. And they drag him to the surf shop. And he steps in the surf shop. And they're all looking at clothes. She says, honey, should you get a bathing suit? And he's like, see if they make a 42. She's like, I don't see a 42. He's like, I'm fine in what I have, okay? She goes, honey, do you need a sun hat? And he was like, no, I'm wearing my fucking Indians hat. I told you I'm wearing my fucking Indians hat. She goes, honey, they've got Yeti drinks, thermoses. He goes, I kill my drinks fast. Leave me the fuck alone. Get this over with. Honey, do you need flip-flops? And for that guy to go, hang on one second. Hey, did you guys carry Freewaters? And she goes, actually, we just started carrying Freewaters this past January. And he goes, do you guys have and she goes, the men's Dillon?
Brown, size 12.
Brown, size 12. And he goes, how did you know? And she goes, that's all anyone asks for these days. The men's Dillon, size 12. And he goes, do you have any? And she's like, I'll go check in the back. And I want that guy's heart to race a little bit going, I got to try these. I hope they have them. I'm going to fucking buy these flip-flops. And her to come back and she goes, I got one more pair. And him to put them on and go, God damn it, these are comfortable flip-flops. And then that night, he puts on a pair of khakis and a collared shirt. And she goes, honey, are you going to wear your penny loafers? And he goes, nah, I think I'm wearing my men's Dillon size 12s. And he goes out to dinner, never had dinner in his life in flip-flops, and is enjoying a cocktail. And under the table is playing with his flip-flops the way I play with my flip-flops. That is my fucking dream. Can someone please animate that?
I love it. As the sun sets.
Someone animate that for me.
That's fantastic, man.
I really appreciate you doing this. I'm telling you right now, there's not a lot of people that own multi-million-dollar companies that would come fuck around with me on a podcast for an hour and a half. I really appreciate how cool you guys have been on social media.
Yeah.
So I think when I initially came at you guys, it was a little aggressive, but I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
It's cool, man.
I love what you guys do.
We love it too. And you got our attention, and thank you for having us. It was super fun.
No, this has been great.
I love your man cave.
Oh,
You got
yeah.
a great setup here, dude.
It's
I'm not going to describe to everybody exactly what you got going on here because if they knew, they'd
it's
be
fucking.
jealous.
Dude, I'm a man of leisure. I got golf clubs. I got my scuba shit. I got my Cannondale. I got my climbing gear. You're right. The same guy. The only thing I don't have in here is a surfboard. I almost bought one today.
Yeah.
I literally almost bought a surfboard and was like,
I think we can help you in that department.
let's just
I would
start with
love
Korean
to,
food
I would love to push you into a wave. You wearing the Dillons, of course.
and nothing else. Dude, that's where we start. We get porn stars learn how to surf naked. That'll go viral as fuck. We'll Dan Bilzerian this bitch out. We'll turn you into a whore, like a real man whore. Short shorts with Dillons. You know, are you a fan of Dan Bilzerian's?
I'm not. I know. Of course, I know who he
Oh,
is.
God. Let's create a character. Let's create a character that only people on this podcast know, and he's the guy that owns. We'll hire a guy who's gorgeous, and then we'll hire a bunch of models, and we'll just do one campaign of the guy that owns Freewaters.
I know what his name should be.
What?
Dillon.
That's the perfect way to end this podcast. I don't want to speak after that. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, have a great week. I love you. A blood stain from a roller coaster. These looked too much like my reefs or my rainbows,
Right.
so I just immediately never put them on.
Yeah.
Like I was like, yeah, they're heavy like my rainbows.
Yeah.
These are actually really fucking comfortable.
Yeah, those are nice.
Those are
Are those the
nice.
Otis's?
I just
Yeah.
walked around in those.
These are becoming my new favorites. These are the next generation.
No, those are Dillons.
These are
Those are
Dillons,
straight up Dillons.
but the new Dillons.
Nope, they're exactly the same as these.
No.
Yep.
No, they're not.
Yep.
No, they're really not. I refuse to believe that.
Those are the old guys.
Yeah.
Those fucking things are fucking. These are tools of ignorance. Look at this fucking toe stem right here. It's so aggressive. Did you hear that? That's a flip flop going on the ground. They look like they'd be sexy, but I'm not this guy.
No, that's pretty feminine.
This is a feminine. This is part of my personality. These are not same generation as these.
Yeah, they should be. Yeah, they are.
For real?
Yep, they're identical. It's just a light tan versus brown.
I guess we don't need to bring back the Dillon. It's fine. I found my pair. You gotta admit though, I am a legit fan of this flip
You
flop.
are, but in this genre of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
kind of leather, and he basically has them all.
Like the fact that he has endless summer white is pretty wild.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why
That
is
was like
that?
super limited edition.
Oh,
it's
really?
Like a big.
Here, give me an endless summer.
Sorry, like,
Here, stay in the sun.
These are women. I can get
Whoa.
Oh, those are awesome.
these for you. Yeah, and of course this is Nate, which is like right in between all you guys.
Oh, rats.
Oh, here, try them on, Liam.
Yeah, try them. I
See
can
what
always
they fit,
send
you
you a
never
pair.
know.
Oh, I brought you a trifecta and a 12 just in case you wanted to try it.
What is it?
That was the one you were asking about.
Oh,
Only if you actually
And
want
they
to wear
fit
it.
George.
Ooh, yeah, I want to try it.
They're really cool. I like scrubby on them.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. This is interesting.
So here's a 6.
Let me see.
It's like the cage without the cage.
Right. So you can still slide into it, but then you can crank it down or just wear it loose.
That's fucking. Oh, I'm interested in these.
Okay.
You are?
Yeah, that's awesome. This would replace Tebow's when you're camping in a heartbeat. I'm fascinated by these.
yeah, they're.
It's totally
I didn't
different
think this
animal.
would work at all.
Yeah.
Like when I saw them, I was like, "There's no way." It's like having a shoe on. Once again, Freewater has blown my mind. Check this out. This is called the trifecta. It's got a little extra slaps. I think if you want to get into a fight at a bar, you go, "Hold on, let me tighten up my Freewaters."
Oh.
I really didn't think it would work. I saw it at the store and I was like, "Good luck." I didn't know it was you guys. And then now I'm trying them on, going, "Shut the fuck up!" I like the color too. Black, nice canvas. Feels outdoorsy, getting the dirt, looks a little gray. Everyone's like, that guy does work. Well, this is a little bit. Of
Okay, no sweat.
But-
Thank you so much. Really appreciate
course,
it. man.
dude, I'm a fan. That's all. That's all.